Thank you, Chair. My name is Associate Professor Dr. Muchoka Moses, Council Secretary. And I am with me a team from VUBWI current management and also the immediate past Council Secretary, who is also going to introduce himself. Maybe we'll start from this side.
We can start from, I think, next to you on your left. Yes.
Good evening. Good evening, Chair.
Please get closer to the mic so that the radio and the TV can capture your voice.
Good evening, Chair. My name is Joseph Matavishi. I'm the Director of Finance for VUBWI Town Council.
Good evening, Chair. Good evening, everyone. My name is Alice L.M. Chikunduzi, Director of Human Resource and Administration for VUBWI Town Council.
Good evening, Chair. Good evening, honorable members of the committee. Good evening, everyone. My name is Arnold Mwanza, Internal Auditor, VUBWI Town Council.
Good evening, Chair. Good evening, honorables. Mbeba Felix, Water and Sanitation Engineer, VUBWI Town Council.
Good evening, Chair. Good evening, everyone. My name is Martin Sakara, Director Planning for VUBWI Town Council. Thank you.
Good evening, Chair. Good evening, everyone. I'm Norman Nyendwa, Socio-Economic Planner for VUBWI Town Council. Thank you.
Good evening, Chair. Good evening, everyone. My name is Jack Zulu, Acting Director Engineering, VUBWI Town Council.
Good evening, Chair, and good evening, all members of this committee. My name is Mufat Mwanza, Council Secretary in Kayama Town Council. I'm the immediate past Council Secretary for VUBWI Town Council.
Thank you. The others, you can use the microphone closer to Mr. Kazinga there.
Good evening, Chair. Good evening, members. My name is Christopher Ndrovu. I'm the Stores Officer for VUBWI Town Council.
Good evening, Chair. Good evening, members of the committee. Ngwengwe Brian is my name, Procurement Officer, VUBWI Town Council.
Good evening, Chair. Good evening, everyone. My name is Regan Zulu, Procurement Officer, VUBWI Town Council.
Thank you so much, VUBWI. AG's office.
Thank you, Chair. Good evening, Chair. Good evening, honorable members. Good evening, CS and your team. Evening to other permanent witnesses who are around. My name is Mashao Gabriel, Director for Eastern Provincial Audit Office. I'm accompanied by other officers who I will request to introduce themselves. Thank you.
Good evening, Chair. Good evening, honorable members of the committee. Good evening, everyone. My name is Mnalula Njovu, Principal Auditor, Chipata Audit Office.
Good evening, Chair. Good evening, honorable members and VUBWI Town Council. My name is Charles Bukolo. I'm a planner from the Office of the Auditor General. Thank you.
Good evening, Chair. Good evening, honorable members of the committee. Good evening, CS and your management team. My name is Mulenga Chama, coming from the Office of Accountant General.
Good evening, Chair. Good evening, members of the committee. Good evening, VUBWI. My name is Achuya Davis, Assistant Director, Local Authorities Department, Minister of Finance and National Planning Audit Division, and you're welcome.
Thank you, Chairperson, and good evening to you and the honorable members of your committee. VUBWI Town Council, you are welcome to this session. I'm Kennedy Kazinga from Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Secretariat.
Thank you, Chair, and good evening. My name is Mark Socheka from the Office of the Clerk.
Thank you, Chair. Emmanuel Walia from the Office of the Clerk.
Thank you so much, Honorable Member for Kaumbwe.
Thank you, Chair. Good evening, VUBWI. I'm Honorable Dr. Aaron Mwanza, Member of Parliament for Kaumbwe constituency, Petaga district of the Eastern Province, and you are most welcome to your Local Government Accounts Committee. Thank you.
Honorable Member for Dundu Mwenze.
Chair, thank you so very much. Good evening, VUBWI Town Council. I'm Honorable Dr. Singombe Edgar, representing the people of Dundumwezi in Kalomo, Southern Province. You're welcome.
Thank you so much, VUBWI Town Council, and I'm Luhamba Mwene, Member of Parliament for Mangango, sitting in for the chairperson who is currently in the constituency but is attending virtually. We have other 2 honorable members of Parliament that are attending virtually. So at this juncture, CS, I will ask you to go through your report before your committee.
Chairperson.
Thank you so much.
Chairperson. Chair.
Sorry, I'm not able to see you because the screen is... you can please go ahead and introduce yourself.
I'm not able to see you because the screen is... you can please go ahead and introduce yourself. You can please go ahead and introduce yourself.
Okay, thank you so much, Honorable Mulunda, MP for Siavonga. We are able to get you loud and clear, though it's not very clear. I will introduce you on your behalf. The one who is trying to introduce himself is Honorable
Chairperson. Honorable Chairperson.
Yes, Honorable. Yes, you can go ahead, please.
Yes, Honorable MP for Siavonga.
Yes, you can go ahead, please.
Thank you very much, Chairperson.
Thank you so much.
VUBWI Town Council, you are welcome. Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you so much. Honorable Mishek Nyambose, if you are able to connect, we have challenges today. If you are able to also introduce yourself, please, you can go ahead. Honorable Nyambose. Okay, we have some technical problems, but he's getting us, I'm sure, loud and clear. You can please go ahead with your submission.
Thank you, Chair, person, for according us an opportunity to appear before your committee once more. Chair, before I proceed in reading the responses, I would like to apply to request or seek guidance from your committee on 4 items.
You can proceed, please.
Chair, in the first place, I would like to maybe congratulate the Dr. Singombe for the doctorate, and I just want to say welcome to the Club of Lions. Thank you. And also the seasoned doctor there, I recognize you as well. So, Chair, secondly, I would like to submit the supplementary copy of the pictorial evidence. We have actually provided extra copies for pictorial evidence. Pass through this.
You can please, no, just wait. Secretariat is coming to collect them.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, please.
Chair, we have provided back extra pictorial evidence to our submission. Secondly, Chair, it's a submission that our report may have some disparities in terms of figures with what is captured here. I want to state that we reached out, VUBWI Town Council reached out to Auditor General, and we harmonized the position in terms of some of the figures which may not be telling. So we reached out to Auditor General to make sure that where there are some differences, we have to seek that guidance.
Are there any corrections you would like to make?
Yes, I'll get to that.
Okay.
Chair, I would like now to get to the corrections on page 6, Chair. On page 6, sentence sentence number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Sentence number 6, that is as loans repayment that has also been paid. It should read loan repayments that has not been paid out. So we replace the word also with the word not. Chair, on page 7, page 7, sentence number 4, where it says, and the balance was the funds. It should read the balance was part of the fund. So we insert the word part of the funds. Page number 10.
Is that on cause of query?
On cause of query, yes. Okay. Sentence number 4. Now, okay. Chair, I take you to page 10. Page 10, Chair, there are 2 corrections to be made. First and foremost, in the column, the table above, just in the column there, we put in brackets 5,379,641.
Which column?
The table above on the appendix 2.4.
Yes, appendix.
There is column number 1, where it says amount received 2022 and 2023, which reads 2,569,000.
Yes.
So we put in brackets 5,379,641. Those are part of the harmonization.
5,379,000. Yes.
641. On the same page, where it says number 1 varied, sentence number 3, it should read constructed staff house at Nchima. Constructed staff house at.
Yes.
Just
Mr.
Just a submission. I think your witness may be guided that alteration of 2.4 is not within their limit. That needs to be submitted as by Auditor General. Yep.
Okay, you have heard the submission from Minister of Local Government to say alteration of the 2.5 million cannot be done by you, but Auditor General.
Guidance taken, Chair. We take note of that. Okay, then we just make our submission on the same. Chair, now that takes me to page. Okay, it means on the figures we can't make that changes. Okay, since we can't make any changes, Chair, maybe we can able to get back to page 1. And before I read out, Chair, a further, come again? 17. Page 17, I'm reminded, page 17. Page 17, Chair, there is an addition, on the action taken.
Yes.
It should read a sentence should start with an independent sentence, which should read from 31st December 2023. Another sum of 263,072 kwacha has been repaid, giving us a total of 400 and
you are too
fast.
Okay. You are talking about a sentence with the words.
Okay, this on failure to recover loans, there is a sentence which should read from
page 17
on action taken. Now independent point. Yes. It should read from 31st December 2023, another sum of 263,072 kwacha has been repaid. 263,072. 263,072
Yes.
has been repaid, giving us a total of 434,563 as at 31st March 2025.
474?
434,563 as at 31st March 2025. Chair, I make the last submission that we also want to submit to your committee that it's placed on record that VUBWI Town Council is appearing on cross-cutting issues and we don't have audit queries as preliminary queries or main queries on A. We are actually appearing on section B on cross-cutting issues like any some other council like VUBWI and others who have actually passed through your committee. So we would like to request that it's placed on record that we are appearing on cross-cutting issues and not audit queries.
Noted, CS.
Thank you very much, Chair. Having said that, Chair, allow me to go to Appendix 1. In the normal sense, I should be saying Query 1, but I'm talking about Appendix 1 on budget, funding, and expenditure. Chair, the table there is clearly stating the money that what was budgeted for, and also the funding, the retained funds of 1,052,432, the base funds, and also expenditure. Chair, we note that the issue here is on the retained funds, the 1,052,432. So we have actually broken down to look at it's retained. This money was retained at central level, which is the ministry.
Yes. Just kindly read for your before your committee the cause of query, action taken, and the remedial measures as you have presented them before your committee.
Exactly.
You'll be speaking to each and every item later during points of clarification.
Okay, thank you. Cause of query, Chair, the Council wishes to acknowledge the findings of the auditors and would like to state that the funds amounting to 1,052,432 were withheld at source for central procurement of the Chief's Palace at a cost of 936,751.8 ngwe, and the insurance of the CDF monitoring vehicle at 115,681.1 ngwe. Action taken, Chair. The Council awaits mobilization by the contractor for the Chief's Palace, and the funds amounting to 115,681.1 ngwe was paid for insurance for the monitoring vehicle. In a supplementary provision, there is also evidence to which points to the insurance. Remedial measures, Chair. The Council will continue putting up efforts towards timely delivery of quality projects which are cost effective. Chair, I go to Appendix 1.1, retained for Chief's Palace. Cause of the query, the Council wishes to acknowledge the findings of the auditors and would like to state that funds amounting to 936,751 was withheld at source for construction of the Chief's Palace as already stated in Appendix 1. Action taken, the Council awaits the mobilization by the contractor. Remedial measures, the ministry to commence. appendix is total funds, total unspent funds, which is representing 17%. Cause of the query, the council wishes to acknowledge findings of the auditors and would like to state that the cause of the query was failure to spend a total sum of 8,794,554, broken down as 7,953,303 for incomplete projects and 445,455 for CDF loans received from the revolving fund account, and 253,610 for bursaries, 142,186 was interest accrued from the main CDF account. So, Chair, next page, there is a table that we have put in place there to help us to do the analysis so that we understand fully the breakdowns. So, action taken. The council wishes to state that the total funds amounting to 8,161,554 have since been paid to implement the following projects. 2 maternity annexes at Matemba and Mzigawa health posts are complete and operational. Construction of 1x2 classroom block at Impiro Primary School is complete and operational. Chair, we procured a total of 3,266 desks in the year under review. Procurement of earth-moving equipment. So, Chair, we procured the excavator, we procured the tipper truck, and we also procured the water bowser. And all these pieces of equipment are operational. Construction of 3 water schemes, Likawe and Malaya at Malawa primary schools, and also one at Chikoka Growth Center, which is also complete and operational. The money also, Chair, was used for construction of 2 staff houses at Mchima and Insole health posts. These staff houses are complete and operational. Lastly, Chair, a graded and gravelled 2 roads, Chigwe Sindamisale Road and Mbande Chaoleka roads. These roads are motorable. The balance amounting to 632,999 and 27 ngwe is broken down as 187,544.27 being funds kept for retention for projects within the contract liability period, and 445,455 as loan repayment as stated earlier that has not yet been paid out. Remedial measures. The Council is committed to continue on effective project implementation as demonstrated in the year under review, where we have recorded a good performance of 100% on empowerment grants, 100% on bursary component with variations. Community projects is of 37,227 and 602.73 spent against the 37,415,144 funds available, representing 99.5% burn rate, in giving the overall burn rate of 82%, and envy to accelerate project implementation to 100% in the year 2025. Appendix 2.1, unspent funds, community projects. The previous one is unspent funds general, but now we are looking at specific components from the same unspent funds. So we had unspent funds of 3,200,000. Cause of the query, the council maybe 3,200,000, which represent 20%, which means, Chair, that the implementation was 80%. Cause of the query, the council wishes to acknowledge the findings of the auditors and would like to state that funds captured as amount received was actually the budgeted amount for 60% of the community projects component. However, Council received a total of 15,086,493. These are part of the harmonization that we wanted to apply for earlier on. And the balance was the funds retained for the vehicle insurance balance was part of the funds retained for vehicle insurance and construction of Chief's Palace as indicated in Appendix 1. Action taken, Chair. The Council took the following action. Following the circular to utilize the funds for the ambulance for 2023 in 2024, funds were varied that graded and gravelled a 23-kilometer road from Chigwe, Zozwe to Sindamisale. I think we can add, I missed the part, this part on the correction. Is Chigwe, Zozwe to Sindamisale area. Pictures and completion certificates for verification of the committee are attached. The Council, number 2, the Council awaits the Ministry to send the contractor for the Chief's Palace construction, which we have already highlighted. 3, Chair, the Rural Education Fund Authority, Rural Education Authority allocation amounting to 1 million funds were varied and completed the following: Chikoka Water Scheme, Malaya Water Scheme. These water schemes are operational with estimated 10,000 beneficiaries. Attached is the evidence under Appendix 3. Remedial measures. Council shall intensify monitoring of CDF projects to ensure timely completion of projects and disbursement of funds to the contractors. Chair, I take you to Appendix 2.2 and spend funds on empowerment grants. The table clearly states that the funds received and funds spent. 3,103,72 was received. Amount spent 3,103,72. That shows that zero unspent by implication is 100% expenditure. Cause of query. The Council wishes to acknowledge the findings of the auditors and wishes to state that funds amounting to 3,103,072 kwacha was spent on grants for the year 2023, representing 100% performance and burn rate. Action taken. The Council has spent all the funds meant for grants to approved beneficiaries by 100%. Remedial measures. The Council shall endeavor to spend funds within the financial year as achieved. Unspent funds grants. Chair, this is a duplication.
Yes, you can proceed, please.
We can skip this one.
Yeah.
We go to Appendix 2.4 on secondary school boarding and skill development bursaries. Unspent percentage 60%, which means we only spent 40% on this part. The Council wishes to acknowledge the findings of the auditors and would like to state that out of funds received amounting to 5,379,641, a total of 1,024,335 was spent on bursaries as per table above, table 2 above. Action taken. VUBWI Town Council took the following action. We varied funds for bursaries amounting to 4,101,696 and implemented the following community projects. Gravelled Mbande to Chaoleka Road, rehabilitated VUBWI Rural Center, constructed staff house at Mchima Health Post, constructed staff house at Insole Primary School, constructed ablution block at Msengelezi Health Post, completed Mbande Market Shelter, rehabilitated Malaya Bridge, procured 206 more desks, and all are completed and operational. Appendix 5 attached is providing or speaking to that. The remedial measures. Council shall continue to sensitize the communities on the importance of CDF bursaries. On unspent funds, admin cost, the balance of 305,444. Management response, cause of the query. The Council wishes to acknowledge the findings of the auditors and would like to state that the over expenditure was a result of funds carried forward from 2022, amounting to 305,445 kwacha, committed for monitoring and supervision of carried forward projects from 2022. We carried 20.5 million from 2022. Among that money which was carried forward from 2022, there was this money for administrative costs, but it was not captured. Then it created an impression as if it's an over expenditure. Chair, the next Appendix 3 is on 2022 community projects. On the table, it shows that balance brought forward is 0, implemented 0, work in progress 0, outstanding 0. Cause of the query, the Council acknowledged the findings of the auditors that at the time of the audit, 22 projects were completed. So, Chair, we had 30 projects, and out of 30 projects, which are attached in Appendix 7, 35 projects were completed, which also involved a variation of the bursaries, which did 5 projects. And these have been completed 100%. It's the reason why maybe when Auditor General passed through, they didn't capture any overlaps. The major measures, the Council shall continue the implementation of community projects within the stipulated period, project contract period, as provided for under the ZPPA of 22 and other statutes. 2020 community projects, Chair, 2023, 13 projects were earmarked for implementation. At a time, by the end of the year, 10 projects were completed and 3 projects were outstanding. Chair, the Council acknowledges the auditor's findings and wish to state that the cause of the query, action taken and remedial measures are in the table below. So the table below talks about the ambulance, which was centrally, the money which was supposed to be for ambulance, which was varied, which I've already explained earlier on, to implement the road to Chigwe-Zozwe Road. The second one was the Chief Palace, which again was centrally procured, Chair, which was not implemented to date. We are still waiting for the ministry to send the contractor. And the other one was the money funds which was meant for RIA, which we also explained earlier, Chair, that we did water schemes as put in place. Chair, we go to Appendix 5. Appendix 5, Chair, is on analysis of performance for youth, women, and community grants. Chair, this item, the community grants, we already covered it, but I will run through again. That the 3,103,72 was allocated, and the last column 3,103,72 was spent, which is 100%. Further, Chair, the table says approved application of 54 benefited and all were paid. Further, Chair, there is 111 applicants out of with the 54 allocated, which gives us 59% coverage. This is due to high demand of the grants on the ground. Because of the query, the Council wishes to acknowledge the findings of the auditors and wishes to state that budgeted amount was 2,151,856 and included 951,216 from 2022 and was utilized to benefit 78 groups or clubs from 2022. However, the 54 applicants indicated in the table above were for 2023 and were all paid, representing 100% burn rate. The district had recorded high demand for grants, as can be seen with 111 applicants and 54 successful applicants, representing 49%. And this is positive because of intensive community sensitization, area alluded to, and the competitive environment for quality selection. Action taken, the Council provided feedback to unsuccessful applicants detailing reasons for non-selection in accordance with CDF guidelines and Act of 2018. By then, intensified community leadership engagement and sensitization on requirements for grant application. Appendix 9 speaks to that fact. Remedial measures: the Council shall continue with the community sensitization, leadership engagement, capacity building for various community groups. Appendix 8, performance analysis for soft loans. Council, cause of the query: the Council wishes to acknowledge the findings of the auditors and wishes to state that the Council paid a sum of 4,317,000. There we can make a correction because this is our type of mistake. It must read 4,417,000, not 4,317,000. Council paid a sum of 4,417,000 as opposed to the captured amount of 3,950,000 kwacha. That included 157,000. Hence, all approved loan applicants were paid by 100%. No balance remains. Action taken: the Council wishes to state that it disbursed a total of 4,417,875, inclusive 157,785, and not 3,950,000 captured. Appendix 10 attached is able to provide details to that. Remedial measures: the Council shall continue timely disbursement of funds to beneficiaries. Appendix 9, failure to recover loans. The Council acknowledges the findings of the auditors and wishes to state that a total of 446,222,000 kwacha had not been paid by the beneficiaries. Action taken: the Council wishes to state that Indo-Zambia Bank was engaged to facilitate the recovery of the loans pursuant to Section 4 of the Treasury and Financial Management Circular number 15 of 2022 of the Ministry of Finance and National Planning, which states under Section 4.7 that financial institutions are supposed to undertake loan recoveries based on agreed repayment schedules. Amortization schedule attached on Appendix 11. The Council would like to state that both the bank and loan beneficiaries have been engaged, as a letter was written to the Indo Bank management on matter, and the loan beneficiaries have been engaged several times through monitoring and other forum. And now we are also engaging them through the radio. We have just signed an MOU with the Quart radio station where we are broadcasting live program to sensitize our people. Community measures: the Council will ensure that adherence to terms and references stipulated loan agreement form is enhanced. Appendix 10, secondary school, secondary bursary, secondary boarding and skills development bursary. Cause of the query: the Council wishes to acknowledge the findings of the auditors and would like to state that the Council received 93 skills development bursaries and 52 secondary school bursary applications. All the applicants were considered for scholarship or sponsorship, all of them, which is 100%. A total of 74 students for skills development out of 94 students enrolled completed their trainings or graduated, representing 79.5%, which is very encouraging with a high completion rate. The rest are still undergoing their trainings. And there were 2 grade 12 pupils at Chadiza and Petauke boarding secondary schools named Mwale David and Piri Natasha. Both completed their grade 12, representing 100% completion rate. And we didn't experience any dropout rate, which means people are appreciating what government has put in place. So the 2 students who were in grade 12 examination classes, all of them completed very well, which means we are actually moving on the right trajectory. And The action taken for the remaining money, the Council wishes to state that all the applicants were awarded bursaries and funds have since been paid. The Council took the following actions on unspent funds at the time of the audit. Varied funds for bursaries amounting to 4,101,696 and implemented the following community projects. I think I also earlier on alluded to this, Chair. Gravel Road, Mbande to Chaoleka Road, rehabilitated VUBWI Rural Center, constructed staff house and the staff house at Mchima Health Post, constructed staff house at Insole Primary School, constructed ablution block at Msengelezi Health Post, completed Mbande Market Shelter, rehabilitated Malaya Bridge, procured 206 desks, and all are completed and operational. Refer to Appendix 1. Remedial measure, management shall continue engaging the community on the importance of education. Chair, I end my presentation and I thank you very much for giving us an opportunity to put our message across. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you so much, CS. Now we would like to seek points of clarifications. But before I ask the Honorable Member for Dundumwes, Dr. Singombe, there is no name here for the CS.
No name?
No name for the CS. There's just a signature. Is this yours? Is this your report?
On page 1? Page 19.
Page 19.
Or 19. Okay, Chair, when that, sorry, we take note as an omission because the name is appearing on the cover page at the sign.
Okay.
So we thought that was sufficient.
All right, noted, noted, yes. Honorable Member for Dundumwezi.
Chair, thank you so very much, and allow me to thank VUBWI for their report. Chair, before I pose a question, just allow me to apologize to VUBWI Town Council for running late in this particular interaction. I know you should have appeared much earlier. And sometimes when you hear people saying members of parliament are not picking up phones, it's because sometimes we go up to this time. So it's sometimes difficult. So, Chair, I just want to apologize that we've kept them longer than the time that we had planned. It wasn't designed. It was just out of certain situations that were beyond our control. Chair, again, this committee has been given a lot of names, but I think for me, I would say that today, Chair, it's another area where this committee should be saying that while other people give us bad nomenclature, VUBWI, to me, has tried to demonstrate that you can work without necessarily coming here without a query. And when you look at the 2022, Chair, it's on page, sorry, Chair, my apologies. Yeah, page 2012, Chair.
Page 12, yes.
Where on community projects, I expected, Chair, to see a number of challenges, bearing in mind that this was a time that maybe this was the first year that enhanced CDF was released to our local authorities, and a number of local authorities, Chair, that have come before this committee attributed the delays as a result of EGP. But here it is. We have a local authority like VUBWI who managed to actually deal with all their programs under review. So I think for me,
they need to be commended, and other councils should look to VUBWI that such things can happen. However, I have a question, Chair, on just page 3, where VUBWI is saying that the council shall, on their remedial measure on retained funds for chiefs' palaces. Chair, the local authorities is indicating that the council shall continue making follow-ups at the ministry until the contractor is procured and works commences. I just wanted to find out from the CS, I want to know the last time the local authority made a follow-up with the ministry, because surely this money is still in your accounts, if I'm not mistaken. So when did you last make that follow-up with the ministry to ensure that construction of this palace begins? Thank you so very much, Chair.
Thank you. I think in addition to that, most councils or most chiefs' palaces have started, they commenced construction. Some of them are even finishing now. They are roofing and so on. Some have commissioned. It's surprising that in your case you haven't yet even commenced. So you can please attend to those questions.
Thank you, Doc, and thank you, Chair. The last time that we interacted with the ministry concerning the matter was last week on Thursday, when the new Minister of Local Government interacted with the local authorities at Chalimbana to have a frank talk kind of discussion to see where things are. VUBWI Town Council, personally, I stood up and raised this issue, and the Minister instructed his staff to expeditiously look into this matter, that this issue is addressed. As I'm speaking now, Chair, I'm also a carrier of a letter from Chief Pemba Moyo going to the ministry to also raise some concerns on the same. As I'll be done with this meeting tomorrow, Chair, I will still be at the ministry to also make further follow-ups on the matter. So last week, when we had the ministry and the minister interaction, I raised that issue and I was assured that that matter will be followed up with a lot of vigor and seriousness it deserves. So I look forward and trust the ministry that they will do as they promised.
What problems are you facing? Because some areas construction has ended, has finished.
Yes, Chair, the problem is clear. Like I was saying, I'm carrying a letter from the chief. I was summoned by the royal establishment to seek information, to seek guidance, or seek explanation as to why. And I also told them, I also said that now we are engaging the ministry, and when we engage in the ministry, we get the feedback, then we get back. So I'm also getting that pressure from the stakeholders, the beneficiaries.
So in simple terms, yes, you don't know what the problem is.
No, we don't. It's actually the issue of the ministry, and that, like I said, even when we went to Chalimbana, they actually promised that they would respond to us. Yeah, but I also want to maybe invite the past CS. Maybe you can also add a word to that. Listen.
Yes.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, I want to submit that what delayed to commence the project of the Chief's Palace is we had an issue where the chief was replaced. So the identification of the site contributed to the delayment. It took a bit of time for the chief to be installed, and after he was installed, that's when the site was identified, and we had people on site who came to inspect. I don't know how far it has gone. Maybe Director Planning has got some information over that, Chair. I submit.
Director Planning, do you have any information to that?
Thank you, Chair. I think as the former CS has indicated, the chief was installed late last year, of which, because the contract is being handled by the province. From the ministry, it's the provincial engineer who is the contract manager, and we did indicate to them that now the chief has been installed and the site has been identified. So we are waiting upon them to come through now.
All right, thank you. Any follow-up question or a different question? Dr. Mwanza?
Thank you, Chair. I just wish to also just echo the same sentiments as my colleague, Dr. Singombe, concerning the presentation and performance of VUBWI. It is amazing to find that even in the midst of refining the guidelines on the usage of CDF funds vis-a-vis 2022-2023, you recorded 100% performance in capital projects, and also the performance for 2023 is splendid without any audit query. This is commendable. I just wish you to maybe give some words of encouragement on how you have achieved this performance so far to this level. What is your story?
Yes, you are being commended there that you have performed well. You can please.
Yeah, thank you, Doc. The word of encouragement, I think we also appreciate if our works are being acknowledged, and we can just be able to encourage our colleagues countrywide just to keep their eyes on the ball and maybe reduce a bit of, problems are there, pressure is there, challenges are there, but you need to just stand for them and do what you're able to do. To be determined, to be focused, and move on. For example, by 2023, EGP was being introduced, but we were also allowed to do manual and EGP running alongside that. So sometimes we cannot absolutely put everything on EGP, because there was also some room to also to use concurrently until 2024, when EGP became mandatory. So sometimes we can explore available opportunities and move on and do what is right, and do it what is right at the right time, and then it's achievable. So I think what is just there is to be confident and to be focused and to plan your works very well. Yeah, I can tell you that even 2025, we may even get there because we have done quite a lot of other things. Grants, we're already done. We are done with the grants, 100%. So right now we've just received the 3 million, which we just seen. Also, we're waiting outside. As we go back, that money in 2 weeks' time, 3 weeks, it will go, because programs are already there waiting for the money. It's not the money waiting for the programs, but the programs are waiting for the money. And once that is done, the money will go within a short period of time, and we'll make another request. So basically, it's about confidence. It's about pushing, applying yourself, and more to be patriotic. I think we can be able to do a lot of things.
All right, yes, thank you so much for that. But can you go to page 10? Page 10, Appendix 2.4, Secondary Boarding and Skills Development Bursaries. You decided to vary funds amounting to 4,101,696 kwacha. Is it that you don't have enough learners in VUBWI? You don't have enough youths to take up all this money? Because this money is meant for youths. You decided to vary it towards projects like graveling and so on, and the rehabilitation of VUBWI Rural Health Center, construction of staff houses, and so on and so forth. Because this money, technically, is meant for youths. Why did you decide to deprive youths of their monies? Instead, you opted to take it towards construction of these structures?
Chair, thank you very much for that question. I want to just put it clear that youths were not deprived, because it's not that the youths are not there. They are there. But what is not there in VUBWI is the infrastructure for the youths to utilize easily. Because in VUBWI, it was born in 2012. That's when it was created. To date, it doesn't have any even resource center, youth skills resource, for where people can do, the youths can learn a few skills. We don't have any trade institution, training school in VUBWI. So 100%. And secondly, Chair, we don't have a boarding secondary school in VUBWI. If you heard even from the list that we can be able to give you, it's either they go to Petauke, they go to Luangwa, they go to Chipata, they go to Chadiza, they go everywhere. So here it's not really an issue of not having them. It's about the issue of them having easy access to these facilities and services. VUBWI secondary school, boarding school, it's at 80% it has stored. We may take this opportunity to appeal to Minister of Education to expedite that, because minus that, it means more pupils will still be disadvantaged. They have to travel far and wide to seek their education. So the low turnout or the low utilization of the bursaries in terms of secondary school pupils is not that pupils are not there. Pupils are there, but the facilities are not in the vicinity. They are not easily accessed. They have to travel outside the district and spend more monies to get that education. That affects the turnout. For the skills development, like I said, we don't have any youth skills. We appeal to Minister of Sports, Youth, Sports and Art to come to VUBWI and invest. The Minister of Education to finish VUBWI, the VUBWI boarding secondary school. Yes. So basically, that's my submission, Chair.
All right, thank you. I think, may I please have first Mr. Kazinga?
Thank you, Chair, and we join your committee to adopt the recognition that you have made on VUBWI. Possibly guidance or advice would be, as CS you have put it right, that you don't have these amenities. Our take is your next variation. Because then the learners who have those facilities within, 4 million can do quite a lot. And eventually, when you don't have learners within VUBWI, then you give opportunities for other districts actually to come to your council. So the job you have done so far is commendable, and you just need to keep it on track. Also, Chair, I wanted to submit and put it on record for certain chief's palaces that have delayed, just as you have heard from VUBWI. There are a number of reasons, not only limited to contractors, but these are projects that are bottom-up driven, especially in terms of sites. And certain issues are encumbrance with the succession issues in different chiefdoms. Otherwise, the ministry and government are committed to ensure that these facilities are put in place. So that now, given that the issues of succession has been handled, as you have put it, CS tomorrow, just get to the ministry. I think we should be able to move with mobilizing the contractor. I submit, Chair.
Thank you so much for the council. Dr. Mwanza.
It's just a follow-up on page 10. If we look at Appendix 2.4, the table, you just made a correction that the amount received 2022 and 2023 total is 5,379,641, and you spent 1,024,335. So these are the funds that now you applied for variation to vary onto 9 projects. The varied amounts, when I look at what you had received, less the amount of expenditure, it comes to 4,355,306, which is 253,610 above what you above what you applied for in to the PLGO to seek authority. So my question is, you have a balance of 253,610 unclaimed from the 2 financial years, 2022 and 2023, less the expenditure. Where did you spend this 253,610? Then the second question is, you spent these 4,101,696 on 9 projects. These 9 projects, as in, I can see 11 completion certificates instead of 9 completion certificates for projects that have been funded under the variation funds from bursaries component. When I add the values of all these certificates, the total amount comes to 5,851,696. Question is, which of these completion certificates do not belong to the funding? And Council Secretary, the same page 5, Appendix 5, there is a table on page 71. Appendix 5, the page number is 71 of 146. When you look at this table, it is detailing the accountability of the 4 million kwacha plus. So there are some projects such as project number 14, which is rehabilitation of VUBWI Rural Health Center. The budget is 350,000 kwacha. And you have paid everything to 350 million kwacha. The project, the status is it's complete. Another civil works contract is the completion of Mbande Market Shelter. The project was 50,000 and is complete, and the whole 50,000 is exhausted. Completion of Malaya Bridge, 50,000, the whole 50,000 is exhausted. Mbande Choloka Road, no, okay. But the question is, civil works, they are all measured works when we are certifying for payment. So you sign a contract at a contract price of, say, 350,000 kwacha, like the rehabilitation of VUBWI Rural Health Center. During execution, the engineers certify the works as having been done according to specifications and to the quality and the right measurements in terms of quantities. Because the BOQ, the contract that the contractor signs with a client, is more on the conservative side. But the actual achieved measurements are done to the accuracy that is needed. So any project that is signed for any total amount like 350,000 kwacha, you cannot exhaust the whole amount, 350,000 kwacha. There should definitely, at closing of the accounts, there will be plus minus. So why in your case that all these civil engineering projects, the amount that you reserved for that particular project is exhausted to the core and exact amount, which is not very very common, I would say so. And then project number 15, 16 and 17, you have a balance of like project number 15, construction of a staff house at Mchima. You have a you have a balance of 30,566,000 kwacha. Project number 16, construction of staff house at Insole, you have 25,214 kwacha. And project number 17, you have 29,362,000 kwacha. I guess probably these monies are for retention, because I calculated it's just 5% of the contract price. But the retention period, these contracts, their construction period ended in 2024. So normally the retention defects liability period is within 1 year. So the defects liability has already expired for all these projects. Why are you still keeping this balance on these 3 projects?
Thank you so much, Dr. Manza, for those loaded questions. Yes, Dr. Singombe. Please take note of the questions.
Just allay my fears on your pictorial evidence on the rehabilitation of Malaya Bridge. How strong is that bridge? Page 16. Is that bridge strong enough to?
Thank you. You can please see us attend to those questions.
Thank you very much, Chair, and the doctors for the questions. Maybe I would like to invite the Director Engineering to maybe address the issue of the bridge and also the completion certificates. And then I'll also invite the Director of Finance to maybe to speak to the 253,210 and also the balances.
Yes, please.
Chair, I will make reference to the table which is on page 5 under bursaries. Total funds received 5,379,641. Variation 4,101,696. Total expenditure 1,024,335. There's a balance of 253,610. The balance actually referred to approved bursaries that were not paid right in the year 2023. However, they were paid in January 2024. Thus, at the close of 2023, we had that balance already approved, but only paid in 2024. Therefore, when you look at the expenditure to date, the 253,610 has been paid, leaving a balance to nil.
Chair, also invite the Director Engineering to speak to the...
Yes, Director Engineering.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. For the completion certificates, for the ones that do not have any balance, were completions, and for completion projects, the defect survivability period is 6 months. So the retention was already paid. However, for Nsole and Chima were construction projects which ran for a year. So for those ones, we haven't yet paid the retention, because they claimed for their retention should be January, February, but we did not have funds since the ministry told us to budget for the retentions for the previous year for this year. So for the construction projects, we haven't yet paid them the retentions.
Do you have the circular for that ministerial instruction?
Yes, I think we have it at the office.
You are thinking? Can you be precise?
No, we have it.
You have it? You're able to avail it before your committee? Aziz thinking whether it is there. Who can see? Is it there?
Which secretary?
He's saying the ministry instructed you to budget for the retention.
Okay. I think what he's trying to talk about as we plan for the next phase is CDF funding cycle. If we don't plan for it at CDF committee's stage, we need to when we apply to CDF committee for approval for the following year, we need to factor in any other pending payments for the previous year, because it's different now, like it used to be in the past, where the ministry will send money and sit in our account. But this time around, we are getting money based on request. If we don't request for it, it will not come. So what he's talking about now, the ministry has said, the circular which is there says, priority must be given to the any pending payments for the previous year. If the previous year there are some pending activities or pending payments, as we plan for the coming year, we need to give priority to the previous payments. So retention, money for retention, for example, for projects for 2024, is actually presented and approved also in the budget for 2025. That's when that money is going to come.
All right, yes, about the bridge.
Yeah. So
how strong is this bridge? Can a truck pass here on this particular bridge?
10-ton truck.
10-ton truck. Can it pass on this bridge? And what we are rehabilitating, if the layer of the bridge is seen to be less than actually 20 inches.
Yeah. The scope of works for the bridge was only the protection works, which were stone masonry and just doing the apron slabs, just to enable pedestrians to pass through. However, the temporary measure for that's just the temporary measure. The permanent measure for that bridge, we need to construct a new bridge, and we've submitted that to the ministry because we need a lot of funds to do the same bridge. So we just did some temporary measure so as to allow pedestrians to pass through.
Yes, Honorable Singombe.
Thank you, Chair. He has indicated that you need a lot of money. How much? You have CDF, enhanced CDF. Are you insinuating that you cannot work within your CDF allocation to do this bridge?
Yes, yes. You want to give it to the former CS? Yes, please. You can answer. It was during your tenure.
Yes, Chair. Let me just clarify on this bridge. What happened was when you look at the amount of money which was given, allocated, it was more or less like a disaster. It was just a 50,000. However, the Minister of Local Government has taken it up, and there was a solicitation which was completed, and there's a contract under Minister of Local Government which is coming to do the whole bridge. I thank you, Chair.
Okay. I think I would like, in summary, take you to, before we just conclude, take you to page 17. Oh, your question, Dr. Mwanza.
Yes. The contract amount is 350,000 kwacha. It's not like I'm buying a grader. It's not like I'm buying an earth-moving equipment. But if it is civil works, you need to take certified measurements in order to pay. So when the contract amount is paid exactly to the core and you exhaust, how possible is that for measured works to pay exactly to the contract sum?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Chair. Maybe the doc missed part of the explanation from my director. I think he did try to explain the difference in terms of the completion. Director,
can you please explain to the understanding of Dr. Mwanza?
Just repeat yourself.
Your microphone, please, Dr. Mwanza.
The projects, I think project number 15 on Appendix 5. Appendix 5, then you have page 70, appendix 5 is page 71 of 146. So project number 1, which is in here, it is project number 14, rehabilitation of VUBWI Rural Health Center. You budgeted for 350,000 and you have paid exactly 350,000 to rehabilitate a rural health center. Rehabilitation. The measurements are not exact because rehabilitation, you're just improving its life. So the cracks, when you take all the measurements and so on, so you take the measured works, that is what you pay to the contractor. But you indicated 350,000 here and you paid exactly the whole amount, 350,000. Then the project on number 18, completion of Mbande Market Shelter. The same situation. You reserved the 50,000 for this project. You paid in 2 installments, 37,770 and then 12,230. Total is a 50,000 exact. Another project.
I think it's understood, Dr. Mwanza.
Yes.
You have gotten the gist of the question. So, yes, please attend to that question.
Thank you. I think from the logic that the doc has actually explained, it's very clear that maybe it's like we said, these were the initial starting points. There were a lot of learning processes. So maybe we can just take it that at the moment, I can safely say we take note, doc. that was maybe a gap on our part in terms of technical capacities and ability in contract management. My director here tried to explain, but I think your point is very clear that any project we can't just complete to the core based on the ledger that is coming out from there. We should be able to tell that, okay, if one could not be exhausted, and then at the end of the day, we pay based on the works that have been completed, based on the works that have been assessed and certified. So maybe, Chair, through your Chair, I take responsibility that my engineers, we can take this as a lesson, and going forward, those are some of the beginning of the implementation of these projects with the result of learning, and then we are maturing day by day, and then we, at this stage, Chair, we promise that going forward we'll do better. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Noted, CS. I think the last question, you can go to page 17. Failure to recover loans. You have performed so well in a lot of activities, but you could not collect 446,220 kwacha, okay, that had been paid by beneficiaries. Okay. It was not paid. 446,220 kwacha was not paid by the beneficiaries. What was the challenge? Yes.
Thank you very much, Chair. Again, I'll speak to the record. My colleague, my immediate past may add something to that. Based on the record, these loans were not paid in the year under review. But as we are speaking to you, Chair, the approvals was done in 2024. Late November, somewhere in November 2024. But again, we didn't have the funding until now that we've received the funding, but the approvals has been done by CDF committee, and the conveyance has been sent to the bank for recommendation, which the bank have done. And among the papers that we submitted as a supplementary evidence, there is a copy from the bank, which is showing the recommendations from the bank. And the bank, just a few weeks, in March, Director, when they came to do the training, the training has been done. Now, as I've stated, Chair, that the process was a bit more delayed because of the funding was not available. But this time around, the approvals, recommendations, approvals, and the trainings by the bank has been done. So we are engaging the bank more vigorously. Like you have put it, we have done so well in others, but in this area there was some change in the bank management in terms of manager. So the new manager, we summoned him to VUBWI last week. We noticed this problem. So we summoned him to say, no, we have got a problem here. How best can we deal with this matter? So we are engaging the bank vigorously, and there is a promise that they are also changing the strategy from their end by putting up a special team at the bank purely dedicated for loan recoveries only, so that they are able to follow up with most of these things as quickly as possible. Otherwise, it's an area, Chair, where we have not done so well, but we are not giving up. We are still pursuing this, and we are following up with the banks so that they can up the game. We know that the circular that we quoted, we know about it, but we cannot leave that money in the hands of the bank. It is our money, but they are managing it on our behalf. So we are intensifying the engagement with the loan applicants through monitoring, through meetings, and through the radio. So engagement continues until the recoveries are done accordingly.
All right, I think before we conclude, just one more last question from Dr. Mwansa. Just one.
Yes,
in summary, Dr. Mwansa.
I'm a bit curious on page 1 of 26 of this submission. It's a very beautiful 1x2 classroom block. Now, when I look at the rear, the rear elevation of
page what, Doctor?
Page 1.
Is it the supplementary?
Yes.
Okay, maybe. Okay.
Page 1 of 26. Very beautiful 1x2 classroom block, but the rear elevation does not have a window, and this is the teacher's office. The second picture, there are two pictures. So at the back, there's no window. No, that's very little air vents. Those battery. Is this the design?
Yes, yes.
Chair, before I invite my engineer to talk about the design, my background is public health as well, so I deal with issues of ventilation and other things. I think in terms of ventilation rules, I think an office block, an office for staff must have sufficient ventilation. Otherwise, they will contract other diseases like TB and other diseases, because the air within there, it circulates, and it's called vitiated air. It's actually polluted air. It has to find its way out, and we are replenished by another air through adequate natural ventilation. So this chair, it's a gap. Maybe we need to get back to check many more. Maybe this is an eye opener, which maybe we didn't pay particular attention to. Maybe as we go back, we may require to do modifications here and there.
Yes, just to hold on. Direct engineering, you have seen that?
Yeah, so...
What's your take on that one?
Yeah. Is it...
Yeah, through the chair. For this school, Mpiru was actually a carryover. It was a 2022 project. So the first design that came did not have the window, and that was the one that was adopted. But however, 2020, that was last year, 2023, late last year, they brought other new drawings which include the window. So the initial drawings that were submitted by education at that time did not have the window at the back, and the contractor actually...
Dr. Manza, follow-up?
Yes, now as a professional person, you received the drawing from Minister of Education, then you give it to the contractor. You could not advise, and you make a contractor go ahead, put up a ring beam.
What should you have done as a technocrat?
Yeah, I think we would have advised them. However, at that particular time, it was they had already did the whole structure. So we said, okay, fine. As moving forward, we'll try to
Direct
put the provision
engineering,
of...
where were you when they were doing the whole structure? You were not there?
I was around.
You were not checking?
No, we were checking.
When you were giving the contract, why didn't you advise? Because advice should have come to the contractor when you were giving them the design of the 1x2. Why didn't you advise at that particular time?
I think it was on our end, because the issue is most of the times when we normally follow the drawing, we normally neglect the things that were supposed to change. So I think we neglected that component.
So it's negligence. You have used the word neglect, so it's negligence.
Due to maybe the drawings that were submitted.
All right. Yes, I want to help you.
Yes, I've just received a bit of clarification that maybe the room in question is not actually a office block, but it's a strong room. It's called a strong what?
We have done quite a number of these on the Ministry of Education. So in this, there's an office, and a strong room is within the office. It's just at a corner, and somewhere here there's about 1.5 meters wide of that of area. So that little section we can put window.
Yeah, like what I said, Chair, we want to take responsibility and take this be part of the learning curve, that maybe in the beginning there was this mistake, and this mistake will be corrected, and some of the areas where errors have been made like this, I'm sure we can still get back to the drawing board and make adjustments. So, Chair, positively going forward, I think we need to pick some positive lessons and go and implement. We can't defend the indefendable. What is not defendable, what is wrong, and it must be corrected. So we'll get back to the drawing board, go back to VUBWI and get back to some of these projects which were done earlier, and they will be corrected, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Whatever goes up must always come down. We'd love to continue interacting with you, but I think we have come to the end of our interaction. VUBWI Town Council, you are facing significant challenges in financial management and the project implementation, as highlighted in the Auditor General's report for the financial year ended 31st of December 2023. As such, one, you have unspent funds, and two, you have unimplemented community projects, of which 3 were found outstanding projects. Okay, at that time around, they stored for some time. 3, you had the unrecovered loans to that amount. 4, bursary disbursement delays were indicated in your report. So key points to note are as follows also. 1, you must expedite on your fund utilization, implementing strict timelines for project execution and disbursement of bursaries to ensure funds are spent within the financial year. Also, you must enhance the project monitoring to establish a robust tracking system for community projects to prevent delays and ensure timely completion. Third, you must loan recovery mechanism. You must have a loan recovery mechanism to be able to recover your loans on time. Also, you must be holding stakeholder engagements to improve your communication with beneficiaries and contractors to address bottlenecks in project implementation and bursary processing. Finally, you must also take note of financial accountability by adopting transparent reporting practices to restore public trust and ensure compliance with audit recommendations. Generally, all in all, I think you are one of the councils that have performed well so far, apart from Curfew and which are other councils. I know we have been given a lot of names by most councils. Say, no, this committee is this, the committee is what, you are just demonizing these councils. But you have all the time as councils to avoid coming here. When you go back, you perform your roles diligently, and you will not appear before this committee. And as such, you will be avoiding naming this committee. Otherwise, every council that appears here, our role is to do what? To perform our oversight role and question the councils, ask them questions. Now, it's like with some councils, when we ask them questions, they get offended. But why are they here? Are they not here to be questioned? So, thank you so much for coming through. You have performed so well. Go back and keep on working hard. I think you're among the few councils that have performed better in 2023. We need a much. Actually, we don't need you here in for the 2024 audit report. When you go back, if you did better in 2024, we don't need you here. Let those that will not perform, well. There will be on your own. You will be without immunity. Thank you so much for coming, VUBWI. We shall meet again.